Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something I know a lot of you have struggled with, a genuinely actionable blueprint for hitting true English fluency. You know that feeling, right? When you're stuck constantly translating words in your head, or maybe you've studied grammar for literal years, but the second you have to actually speak, you just freeze up? Well, you're in exactly the right place. We're going to break down this killer combination of daily habit building, traditional solo practice, and some super cutting-edge AI tools that can literally transform your speaking skills without you ever leaving your house. So, let's map out exactly how you can become that confident speaker you've always wanted to be.
Okay, let's just get right into it with the most important question. What's actually holding you back? Really ask yourself, am I afraid of making mistakes? Are you actually speaking on a regular basis or practicing consistently? The source material we're looking at today makes a really fascinating point. Most of the time, it's not a lack of vocabulary or not knowing enough grammar that trips us up. It's psychology. It's that creeping fear of sounding foolish or honestly just a lack of active daily practice. But the really good news here, those are totally fixable problems. And it all starts with this one core philosophy. Small, daily actions create big results. Seriously, language success isn't about locking yourself in a room and staring at a textbook for 5 hours every Sunday. It just doesn't work that way. It's about weaving the language into your everyday life, just a little bit every single day. Consistency is always going to beat cramming. And this idea right here, it's the total foundation of our blueprint today. So let's jump into phase one, which is all about mindset and routine. To really picture how to build these daily habits, our sources give us this awesome real-life example of Elisa. She's a 20-year-old university student, and her path to fluency isn't about paying for fancy, expensive tutors. Instead, she seamlessly fits practice into a totally normal, busy schedule. She wakes up at 6:30 a.m. And get this, even when she's exhausted, she actually looks in the mirror and does some positive self-talk. She says, "You can do it, Elisa. You are strong." Then she heads out at 7:30, and during her morning bus ride, she's listening to English learning podcasts. Later on, she swings by the library to grab these simple English short stories. So she's just constantly surrounding herself with the language, but in these small, manageable, totally stress-free ways. But the absolute most crucial takeaway here is Elisa's attitude toward being imperfect. When she practices asking simple questions in her conversation class with her friend Camila, her mindset is just spot on. She says, "We laugh a lot because sometimes we make small mistakes, but that's okay. Making mistakes helps us learn." Perfection is just a complete myth, guys. Getting out there, speaking actively, and totally embracing those awkward little mistakes, that is the true, guaranteed path to actual confidence. All right, so once your mindset is locked in, what's the actual game plan? Let's move into phase two. Essential solo techniques. These are those classic, highly effective methods that you can do entirely by yourself, literally sitting in your bedroom, no partner required. There are 3 simple steps here. First up, read aloud for just 5 minutes a day. But here is the real trick. Use different voices. Try reading a news article using your best super serious news anchor voice, or maybe read a story like a dramatic narrator. It sounds silly, but it builds the muscle memory you need for emotional range. Step 2, just open up the voice memo app on your phone and answer a single interview question completely cold, no prep. And step 3, listen back to it the next morning before you record your new answer. It might make you cringe at first, but you'll immediately spot where you hesitate and actually hear your own progress over time. Now, if you're sitting there wondering, well, what kind of questions should I even be asking myself? This list from one of our sources, it's called 100 Questions Esther, is the perfect example of base level practice. Just look at how beautifully simple these are. What time do you go to bed? What's your favorite food? Can you cook? You don't need to have deep philosophical debates to achieve fluency. Mastering these immediate, practical, everyday answers is literally the bedrock of spoken English. Another wildly powerful solo technique we need to talk about is shadowing. This is where you listen to a native speaker and you repeat what they say immediately. You're almost speaking right over them. It's like you're acting as a vocal mirror. And the beauty of this is that you aren't just memorizing vocabulary. You're copying their exact pronunciation, their speaking speed, and that natural musical intonation of their voice. It's an absolutely essential daily habit if you want to naturally improve your speaking rhythm. Moving right along, let's step into phase 3, supercharging with AI tutors. Okay, this is where things get really, really exciting. We're bridging the gap between that analog solo practice we just talked about and actual live conversation, all by using AI. Think about it. You now have a free 24/7 conversation partner sitting right there in your pocket. And getting it set up is crazy simple. You just open an AI app, like Gemini or ChatGPT. turn on the live or voice conversation feature. So stop typing and actually use your microphone. Speak your prompt clearly, and then this is the most important part. Listen to the AI's feedback and repeat the corrected sentences out loud. This interactive loop, it is exactly like having this endlessly patient tutor correcting you in real time. And the strategy behind this specific first prompt is just brilliant. Look at this. If you just ask an AI to chat, it'll probably throw some super complex vocabulary at you. But by starting with, "My English is kindergarten level," you force the AI to keep things incredibly simple. Then, asking for questions one by one creates this really natural back and forth dialogue. Plus, asking for a sentence starter gives you a helpful little crutch so you don't just freeze up when it's suddenly your turn to talk. Then, once you're feeling a bit more confident, you can totally upgrade to a prompt more like this one. Notice how specific it is? You're telling the AI, hey, I'm going to speak 8 to 10 sentences. You ask for corrections, you ask for a sample answer so you can see exactly how a native speaker would have said it, and you ask for your CEFR level, which is that official grading scale, like A1, B2, C1. This gives you measurable real-time feedback on your daily speaking practice. It's an absolute game changer. So, what exactly should you be talking to your new AI tutor about? Well, our sources lay out a massive curriculum of different topics. You could practice really simple stuff, like just describing your daily routine, or using demonstrative words, this, that, these, those, just by pointing at random things in your room. Or you can take it up a notch and simulate highly practical real-life scenarios. Try planning a trip for a foreign visitor coming to your hometown, or even run through a full mock job interview where the AI plays the role of the hiring manager. Finally, we're bringing all of these incredible elements together for the climax, the 2-week plan. This is a super actionable 14-day challenge. Here is exactly how these 2 weeks break down. Week 1 is 100% focused on building habits. This is your time to speak out loud alone, get comfortable with shadowing, and start baking English into your daily routine, just like Elisa did on her morning bus rides. Then, week 2 shifts gears entirely into active usage. This is where you force your brain to actually stop translating and start thinking in English while you're doing mundane stuff, like washing the dishes. You'll practice telling short stories about your day and push yourself into real-life usage, whether that's sending voice notes to a friend or talking to your AI tutor. I absolutely love this quote from our sources because it's just the perfect summary of everything we've talked about today. Don't wait until you feel ready to speak English. Start speaking today. Because honestly, every single fluent speaker you have ever heard in your entire life was once a beginner. They stumbled over their words, they made super embarrassing mistakes, and they just decided to keep going anyway. You do not need to be perfect to start. You literally just need to start. To wrap things up, I want to leave you with this one provocative question. Think about this. If you applied these techniques, set up your daily voice memos, and spent just 10 minutes a day talking out loud to an AI tutor, where would your English be 100 days from now? The tools are completely free and they're sitting right at your fingertips. We've laid out the entire blueprint. All that's left now is for you to actually take action. Thanks so much for hanging out with us for this explainer, and we will catch you next time.